and all the participants. I welcome you, Father.
Thank you.
Next, next is the treasure of our college with knowledge, wisdom, noble thoughts, high ideas, and supreme power. That is our principal, Dr. Meenakshi Sundararajan. I welcome you, sir. The greatest talent is the ability to get others use their talent fully. So, here is our eminent resource person of the day, Dr. D. David Wilson, MA MPhil, PhD, and Associate Professor of Department of English, School of Science, Arts, Media and Management, Karunya Institute of Technology and Science, Coimbatore. He has also been the head of the program of pre-engineering program. He also was an administrative coordinator of DEC and also a journalism club coordinator of DEC. He has carried out around 24 training programs, visited many foreign countries, and got various honors like subject expert, board member, Anna University representative, PhD supervisor, and also has won second prize in the Tibetan Buddhist monasteries knowledge contested by China Radio International. He was also the recipient of Best Faculty Award in 2015. I feel very proud to welcome such an eminent person to this webinar. A very pleasant welcome to you, sir.
Thank you.
And in the end, with a warm heart, I welcome the head of the Department of English, Dr. Sushma Jennifer, and all the faculty members of the department to this webinar. Then I extend my greetings to the participants who, even in this quarantine period, is so willing to learn and enlighten themselves. So I welcome you all, the dear participants. Once again, I welcome you all. Thank you.
Hello. Now I request our father, M. Yakamans Michael, to give a presidential address. Please, father.
The respected and beloved Principal, Dr. Meenakshi Sundararajan, the Dr. Sushma Jennifer, Head of the Department of English, Nanjing Catholic College of Arts and Science, the respected Professors Godwin Messi, Reshma Shani, respected Dr. Amalanathan, IQAC coordinator of our college, the respected Professor Thomas Robinson and Mr. Ajil from the Department of Computer Science, and my dearest friend, Dr. David Wilson, today's resource person, and all the faculties from other colleges. Very happy good morning to all of you. And special regards from Nanjing Catholic College of Arts and Science. I am very happy to know that the Department of English of our college is organizing 3 days webinar on electro-learning features and enhanced communication. And today, particularly, the topic of this webinar is effective communication for career enhancement. And I am really happy and very proud to say that I am a very close friend of Dr. David Wilson. You know, we are friends for more than 20 years. All will be surprised to hear this. He is a man of our soil. You know, he is from Ilavai, which belongs to our diocese itself. And he is not only good with me, he is good with my whole family. He's a good friend of my daddy, my mummy, my brothers, my sisters. And I know how clever he is, how intellectual, and how talented he is. And you know, today, I'm happy because even though we were friends for many years, today, the first time I'm going to listen to his talk, his training. So thank you very much, Dr. David Wilson. I call him Anna. He was always our Annan, a model figure for many of the priests of our diocese. And he has visited our college twice, to tell you all. Twice he came to college and he spent time with, one day I think our principal was there, and the other 2 days myself was there, and he came with his family. It was a nice experience that time. And today also I'm very happy that David Wilson and Dr. David Wilson, you have made yourself available for our college and for this session. And my special thanks and appreciation to you. Thank you so much. Also, I appreciate Dr. Sushma Jennifer for taking special efforts to organize this seminar. Also, together with her, I appreciate all the faculties of Department of English. So I'm very happy to inaugurate this session and hope you all will enjoy. And I'm sure Dr. Dave Wilson will keep you very live. So thank you. God bless you.
Thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Father. Now the session is yours, sir.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Let me begin with the presentation, right?
Yes, sir, yes.
Yeah. I could see the PPT now.
Yes, yes, sir.
Right?
Yeah.
So good morning to all of you, and it's my great pleasure to be with you people this morning, and I'm so happy that I was associated with your college and the secretary of your college and my friend Father Eckermans, and in fact the previous persons, those who were in touch with the college, and almost all the faculty, all the priests, those who are associated with this institution are known to me, and I'm very happy that I could meet the principal, Doctor. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah. Okay, right then. So Principal Sir Meenakshi Sundararajan, and also the faculty members, though I have not met you people, but then I know quite a few of you, and I heard about you also. You are doing very well, and I could see the effect in the NIRF ranking, and also obtaining quite a good number of rank holders in the university exams. So it's I'm very happy to be associated with you people. So with the presentation this morning, effective communication for career enhancement is a topic which is decided focusing on the faculty members, because in the beginning of the discussion I heard that it's a faculty development program. Therefore, I thought of having it for career enhancement. But of course, it has a resemblance and it has an effective, effective role for students also, because teachers are always teachers and faculty members are always faculty members. But the students can be the teacher, faculty, and principal even more. So it's applicable to all of you, those who are attending this webinar. And I hope you will get at least a few things to be helpful for you in your career enhancement. So, what the mind does not know, the eyes cannot see. Now, everything begins with the mind. I could see a little bit of distractions in the mic. Could you please mute the mic? Organizers, please. Reshma ma'am?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah, could you please mute the mic of all the participants? So when I say you can open it, and you can get the chat option also.
Yeah, sure. One second,
Yeah.
sir.
Yes.
Okay, sir, now you can start.
Yeah, good then. Thank you. What the mind does not know, the eyes cannot see. Could you see anything correlating to the academics here? See, now the conception takes place in the mind, and the effect of the conception or the evolution of the idea is seen through the eyes. Say, for example, the concept of a flying horse is not seen anywhere, but then it's a concept which is coming in the mind which can be depicted in pictures, in drawings, and in images which can be seen. So that's what meant by what the mind does not know, the eyes cannot see. In the line of academics, always we see the science and technology. So I could relate the science to this mind and technology to the eyes. Okay, so mind is that conceives, science is that conceives. Basically, science helps us to conceive ideas, and technology helps us to get it as product and outcome. So when it conceived in the mind, it could be seen through the eyes. Now, what does it relate to the communication? Now, everybody wants to be somebody in the future. Okay, and if I am working and I wanted to be promoted to the next level, and to reach the topmost position in the university, in the department, everywhere, everybody aspires to that. Now, if that is in the mind, the person can strive and reach to the level of seeing that level. If that is not there in the mind, if that concept is not in the mind, then he cannot be seen to the level that he aspires. So that's what we wanted to be keeping in mind, because when it comes to the communication, when it comes to the communication, many people feel communicating in English is very difficult. And quite a good number of students have the excuse of telling, oh no, I've been studying through Tamil medium, I come from a remote place, therefore I find it so difficult to communicate in English. But the problem is, the concept is not there in their mind. If you see that you are communicating in English, then that you will see in the future. Therefore, first have the concept in your mind that you are an excellent speaker, you are an excellent communicator, and you are being promoted because of your communication. So keep that in your mind. So you will see one day that you are a communicator. Now, when we go to the schools in the childhood days, say for example, a child goes to a kindergarten. And what's a child learns from the school? Or what is it, the impression that it gets in the first day in its school? Normally, when the child comes back, it will tell a lot of stories. Okay, lot of stories. And teachers might have given candies, chocolates. So that to impress the child to go further, go again. But what is the expectation of the present day generation? If you see, a child goes to school and the first day, and after returning from the school, what is the remark he is making? They didn't even have Wi-Fi. So today the generation is not looking for just candies and sweets, but then it looks for further enhanced level of facilities. Now, the present generation is looking for Wi-Fi. In the future generation, we do not know what it will be looking for. So make sure for these children we are teaching, or with these people we are associated. Now, the present generation of COVID-19 has shifted the paradigm of teaching and learning. Almost all colleges throughout India and even in abroad, the educational institutions are running with online classes, webinars, virtual labs, more and more. So far, the class means a classroom setup, and learning means in a group where teacher is there and students are there, and it's a complete setup is being given to it. But the technology and the networking that we have today makes it available to anybody, to everybody, to anywhere. Say, for example, the participants of this particular webinar is not confined to a wall or room inside the college premises. We are seated in different places, different houses, different rooms, and probably somebody is walking on the roadside now. Somebody is traveling. So, but then they are listening, they are attending the webinar. Now, according to the shift, there are number of technological advancements have come up. Zoom, Cisco WebEx, GoToMeeting, Google Classroom, Google Meet, so and so on. There are number of devices available, number of facilities available to have classes, meetings, and labs online. Below you could see two pictures. Do you think they are on the picnic spots? Of course, they are on the picnic spots. But then, do they have something to learn? It's said to be the blended learning. And of course, this is going to be the situation for the future generations classrooms. Okay, they can be anywhere, they can sit with anybody, but then they can attend the classes and they can learn. Now, for this technologically advanced generation, and for this generation who are always with the internet, we are dealing with, we are teaching classes, or we are taking classes, or with this technological advancements, we are in a company, we are in an institution, whether reckless or responsible depends solely on you. What does it mean? Words have no absolute meaning. All that I speak or all that you listen, they do not have an absolute meaning. It depends. Words have meaning in a given context. So, perception of each individual differs. Therefore, you should be more careful and responsible when you speak to people, because we are dealing with human beings. Human beings have different perceptions. Human beings have different concepts, different ideas. But then, how do they look into, or if, say, for example, 99 people are listening to me, or more than 200, 300 people are listening to me, and everybody is not getting the same. My words are meaning to few in a few different way, and for others in a different way. It depends on your context. It depends on your thinking pattern. It depends on your attitude of receiving my words. Therefore, there is no absolute meaning for a word. Say, for example, there was a guest who has come to a particular institute, and he wanted to go to restroom. And he went and asked one of the persons there whom he came across, "Can I go to the restroom?" And the man just looked up, and this is a working hour. And the guest said, "Yes, I know, but I want to go to the restroom." And the man just made a call to somebody, and he was waiting for some time, and then he took the guest and he took him. They were both there walking and walking, crossing the first building, second building, and he took to the third building, which is a guest house, and he asked him, "Sir, this is the place where you can rest." Now, the word restroom meant for the person who communicated is a toilet. For the person who received the word, it is a literal restroom where you can take relax. So keep in mind, the words or reckless or responsible depends solely on you. How do you communicate? Therefore, be careful with the words. Words are so powerful and potential. Till you utter a word, you are the master of the word. But once you utter the word becomes your master. Keep in mind, till you utter a word, you are the master of the word. Once you utter the word becomes your master. You should, you must undergo the repercussions of the word that you have uttered. So, even if a person who is at the topmost position, he has to be very careful with the word. And when you are dealing with your colleagues, when you are dealing with your higher officials, when you are dealing with your lower cadre officials or supporters, be careful with your words. Because once you utter the word, you have to undergo or you have to experience the repercussions of the word that you have uttered. And our words have the ability to be helpful or harmful. It solely depends on the way we communicate. It can be a blessing or it can be a curse. Say, for example, at home, we talk to children. And what type of words do we use at home? I know from Lavankot Taluk, okay, which your college institute is located. How do people speak at home? What type of words we use? What a blessing we give to our children in the early mornings. Just imagine, just think of, be careful, yeah, be careful with the words that we use. Okay, it's quite common in our district where people use cursive words, cursing children, nasamapo, chettupo, olinchupo. What type of words that we use? And make sure words are so powerful and they are so potential. Okay, and every word that we utter has an impact. And recently there was a research taken up in China where words have the potential to deform the crystals. They made a research keeping waters in the tumblers and giving a positive note to a particular tumbler and negative note to another tumbler with the waters. After few days, the crystals formed in the water were so perfect and so pleasant, so good to look at, the words which were uttered positively. And to the tumbler to which the bad words were given, negative words were given, it was deformed, defigured, and no shape, nothing was there. Even the crystals react. So be careful with the words that we communicate. Of course, everybody has seen, everybody has experienced and read in newspapers how a single word from a teacher take away the life of the student. A simple curse from the father or mother taken away the life of the child. So be careful with the words that we communicate. It takes two people to hurt you. An enemy to say something bad about you, and a friend to tell you what the enemy has said. It's quite true. It's not the enemy who is quite dangerous. Be careful. It's not the enemy who is dangerous, but the friend who is communicating to you is dangerous because he is making you feel bad. Okay, so it's quite common in our country that we talk about others, that we say something about other people at the back. So we need to be extremely careful with the words that we utter. Now, so communication with these words, the potentiality of words that we have realized, that we have understood, we are communicating. The communication begins with interaction. What do you mean by interaction? It has to be between human beings. It has to be between people. So it has to deal with another human being, another person. So we must be careful the choice of words that we take in our communication. So interaction is the basics for our communication. I suppose I'm audible, right? Reshma ma'am? Hello? Hello ma'am?
Yes, sir. We all can hear you.
Yeah, okay. The presentation is, you could see also?
Yes, sir. It is also visible.
Yeah, if there is any problem in between, you can just stop me, right?
Sir, it's audible.
Yeah, good then. Thank you. Okay, so I'll
Thank
continue
you.
with that. Yeah, good then. So, communication begins with interaction. So, I said interaction means it has to be dealing with people. So, people are affected by words. People are affected by the choice of words that we take in our communication. Therefore, we must be so careful in our choice of words and communication. Now, Reshma ma'am, can you just open the chat box and ask the people to respond me? Communication skills directly relates to 85% of one's success in life. Do you agree or disagree?
Participants, you can type your comments in the
Yeah,
chat
just
box.
give the comments in the chat box. 85% of one's success in life directly relates to the communication skills the person has. Do you agree or disagree? Do you get any response, ma'am?
No, not yet, sir.
Okay, so chat is enabled.
Yes, sir. chat box on ல தான் இருக்காங்க. Chat box on ல தானே இருக்கு.
It's visible, sir. The chat box is visible.
Visible now. Okay. Uh,
Sir,
yeah, you get the response?
chat box is visible, sir.
No, I'm not able to see that. I could see. Yeah, good then. Okay. So I suppose you will agree with me, right? So, say for example, anywhere you go, any job that you can take up, if you are inefficient in your communication, in your way of dealing with people, if you are not okay, then you are not going to sustain it. It's the tongue that wins. Let me tell you, all my dear students, it's not your degree, it's not your grade, it's not your look, personality, or anything. It's a tongue that wins you a placement. When you go for a placement interview, they are not, of course, you need to have the qualification, of course. There is no bargain in it. But then, with the qualification, it's not the degree, it's not the grade that you get is fetching you a job. Almost all the faculty members might have come across students, those who are so weak in studies, having 2-3 arrears, getting good positions, getting placements. How is it possible? Whereas there are students who are having good rank, good marks, but they're not able to get a placement. What is the reason? And we have analyzed and we could see that it's the lack of communication. It's the tongue that wins. Keep in mind, tongue has two meanings. One is speech, the other one is the language. So, any language you speak, you should be very effective. It's not merely in English, okay? Even if, say for example, if you go to a textile showroom where you need not speak to people, to the customers in English, but then you need to speak to them in Tamil. But Tamil also, how effectively do you communicate to the customer? That much effectiveness you will see in your career. So, it's the tongue that wins, it's the language and the way you use the language in your speech. So that's more important with regard to communication. And it's a skill to be practiced. So communication that I am not getting the communication, I am not getting communication, no. You place yourself in the middle. Come you, communication. So place yourself in the middle. When you want to place yourself in the middle, what do you need to do? Be expertise in the skill. Be practice. Practice the skill. To develop the skill, you have to practice. You must use it. So I wanted to communicate in English and you are telling it again and again, but you are not doing a practical session. You are not opening your mouth at all. How can you develop your communication? That's not the problem with our students, the present generation. They meddle with computer, they meddle with the text, with the mobile apps, and so much of advancement in the devices. But what about the mouth? God has given you wonderful voice. Are we really using this voice to communicate effectively to the people? So make sure it's a skill that you need to practice. Okay. The most important thing in communication is to hear what is being said. And this is another important thing because people listen to others when they speak. What is the level of listening to people who are not speaking? Now that is more intimacy. Say for example, when you are far away from your home, so at times when I make a phone call to my mother, okay, from the very first word, she will ask, are you not feeling well? And it might have been experience of quite a good number of you people. Okay, now you are just telling, hello mom, or hi mom. The word that you call Amma, from the very first word, she will realize that you are not working. That's what hearing what is not said. Hear what isn't said by the people. So it is very, very important. Even if you are an effective communicator, listen people not speaking. And especially in your department, especially in your classroom, in your company where you are placed with other human beings. Have the habit of listening to people what they do not speak. Because you should know when to go, how to go, which person to be met with. So be careful with the communication and think to people what is not being said. And communication has close relationship, and that's the basic for relationship. Communication is the foundation of every single relationship. And no human being is without relationship, either in the family or in the educational institutions or in the companies where they work. Everywhere there is a personal and professional relationship. And for every relationship, whether it is personal or professional, the communication is the foundation. With effective communication, of course, there can be misunderstandings, conflicts, and fight. Everything is possible. Can anyone say? and quite a good number of you participants are there with the family members, right? So you tell me, without effective communication, or is there any family where there is no misunderstanding at all, where there is no conflict at all, where there is no fight at all? Everything starts with your words. Everything starts with your communication, the flaw with your communication, or the voice raising of your tone. Probably at home, no? Everybody has a problem with the communication. Say, I can be a very good, effective communicator outside, but at home, I cannot raise a voice. So I should be very careful in my tone, intonation, the way we speak to people, because the words create or tightens our relationship. So make sure the foundation is the language, the communication. So have a good relationship with your fellow human beings, family members, and your colleagues. And it has a relation to our life. The way we communicate with others and with ourselves ultimately determines the quality of our lives. Can you agree with me? The way we communicate with others and with ourselves determines the quality of our lives. Say, for example, let me give an example, concrete example. Say, in your capacity, in your classroom or in your department or in your company where you work, a person is there who is always talking bad things, who is always speaking to others negatively. How many of you say that you will be happy to associate with that person? Or if you find a person who takes everything positively and who always gives you a positive nod in his speech, how much happy you will be to associate with that person. So keep in mind, it's the quality of our life depends on the words that we communicate. Depends on the words that we choose to communicate. Because speech is power. Our speech is power. So when I communicate to you people, I am just putting my power over you. What for? To persuade you. Yes, of course, I should listen and I should become an effective communicator and to convert yourself and to accomplish. You have to accomplish the task that you take up or the concept that you have in your mind to see yourself in the future, to accomplish it. Therefore, the speech has the power. Keep in mind, the word that we utter to our students, to our children, to our colleagues has power. And it has power to persuade, to convert, and to accomplish. Now, skills demanded by business paradigms. Now, I have given you sets of skills there. Can you see from the list, given the set of skills, is any one which is not related to communication? Of course, every skill that is being mentioned here, either directly or indirectly, relates to the words that we communicate with others. Now, what is the perception of employers? There is a NASCOM, there is a national software testing company, okay, so which takes a survey in a periodical time, and it comes out with the communication of engineering graduates. Every, I think it's once in 3 years or 4 years they take up. And it's not a simple survey. They take from the whole nation around 150 institutes they take up, and more than 50,000 people they interview, and they publish the results. According to their results in 2015, they say 64% employers are somewhat satisfied with the new hires. They are not satisfied fully. And why are satisfied? Because the perceived employability skill, communicative skills of the hired ones, very, very important, where people are lacking. So communication in English remains one of the most demanded skills by the employers. Now, when it comes to English language, of course, when you are dealing with multilingual customers, okay, in the cities, in the towns where people, multilingual people are there, and they come, it's a common language, and it's a contact language. Therefore, communication in English remains the demanded skills. And almost every company, they look for the hired ones to communicate effectively in English. Now, what are the importance of workplace communication? Now, coming to career development, enhancement, we have to develop our workplace communication. Now, what are the ways that we can develop our workplace communication, or why it is important in the workplace? First thing is, in every company, every place where we work, we are not working alone. That's a team building. And every person working in a team needs to communicate. And this communication, this effectiveness of this communication builds the team and accomplishes the task given to the team. And in your communication, in your workplace, give everyone a voice. That means from the low cadre level people to the topmost people have to be involved and have to be listened, have to be accepted with their views. Say any amendment that you make in your department or in your institution, if the people are not involved, every level of the employees or employees are not involved, then then you cannot effectively implement the the effect that you change, that you make up. So make sure any amendment that you make in your company, in your department, in your institute, involve everyone, give a voice to everybody. And growth and innovation, when people communicate openly with everybody, so there comes growth, there comes innovation. When powerful minds interact, there emerges innovations. So interaction, I said, it's communication. When powerful minds in a department, when 2-3 people together interact, when powerful minds interact, there emerges innovation. So there comes newness. Now, the management also needs to have effective communication. So when the topmost position, people have effective communication, then the task of delegation, managing conflicts, and building up relationship, everything is quite smooth. In companies also it is important, in institutions also it is important, in the classroom also it is important. Of course, in the family too. How can I improve the organizational communication? Now, it is very, very important that we have realized. Now, how can I improve my organizational communication? So, it's from the management perspective that the leader, the HOD, the head of the institution must define goals and give the expectations to the subordinates, to the staff members, to the students. This is what expected of you. This is what you are tasked to be achieved. that has to be clearly defined, that has to be clearly given. And everybody should be aware of the objectives. Everybody should be aware of the expectations on him or her. Then clearly deliver your message. That's the problem with our communication. That we communicate a lot, but then what's the clarity? Are we clearly communicate? What I intend to give, is it received by my client? Or is it received by my student or my customers? So what I intend to say is to be understood by the receiver. The sender and the receiver has to encode and decode the same message. Therefore, be careful in your communication, delivering clarity. Clearly, you communicate and you tell people this is what expected of you. And choose your medium carefully. Of course, face-to-face communication is the best way. But then, as COVID situation is prevailing, now we are not able to face-to-face. Of course, in virtual level we are looking into. But then, in the classroom, when it is possible, have face-to-face communication. In an office, in an organization, in an institution where people are all there, you don't need to make a phone call. You can just get the person in person before you, and you can communicate face-to-face. And also, if it is not possible as the COVID situation prevails, you can also make use of the other mediums, emails, memo, within an organization, all that is possible. But then make it effective. Okay, choose the medium which is so effective for your communication. Then keep everyone involved. This is what important. So if you want to have an effective communication, that is to be giving a fairship to the institution. Say for example, a goodwill of the company depends on the staff members' effective communication. If somebody is coming to your institute, say for example, okay, and the first person he will be meeting is your gate man. Okay, the person at the gate, and the the guest is asking, I wanted to meet the secretary for that, or I want to meet the HOD of English department. Now, if the person in the gate could clearly direct the person to the office, to the concerned department, then the person is very happy. Even if his task is not completed there in the institute, when he goes out, he says everything is perfect, because people could clearly say things, this and that, perfectly well. But say for example in an institute, when a stranger comes in and he is looking for the head of the institute to be seen, and he is asking, how can I meet the person? And the watchman says, I do not know. And next he meets another staff member, and that person says, I think he will be there in that room, or sometimes he might have gone, or he may be in that building. Now, when people are not clear, or if they are not able to tell precisely where the head of the institute is, then the reputation of the institute is in a dismay. So keep in mind, it's not of every individual, but then the organization, the institutional image is affected when there is no effective communication. Listen and show empathy. And listening to people is very difficult. Of course, I can understand that quite a number of you people are finding it so difficult to listen to me also. But then it's unavoidable. You have to listen to people. But listening is respecting others. Okay? But then showing empathy is another way of dealing with people. Okay, it's not merely listening, but then just being with the person and listen. Now, how can we say, explain this empathy? Say, for example, I will just give a small story like two people went to a river to take bath. Okay, you can just imagine two people are going to Kulitore river. Okay, they just went to the bank of the river, and then one person said, I am not feeling well. I don't feel like taking bath. So you go and take bath. So one person has entered into the river. The other one is standing at the bank of the river. Now, all of a sudden, there was a flooding, okay, and the person who was there in the river, inside the river, is being floated by the water. And he is shouting, please help me, I do not know swimming, please help me. Now the one who is standing on the river bank is telling, hey, keep quiet now. I also do not know swimming. Do I shout like you? Now the point is, he is correct. I do not know swimming, I am not shouting. You do not know swimming, why do you shout? The thing is, we are in the same department, but the context is different. But the background is different. The context here, the one is inside the water, the other one is outside the water, and cannot be equated. And this is what we need to understand, listening with the sympathy, empathy. And there is a wonderful idiomatic phrase that says, put your leg into the shoe. Okay? Put your leg into the shoe of your neighbor, of your friend. So, make sure that you listen to people with empathy, that you feel one with them. It's not merely just listening. When you go to a death house, some people just stand there, some people cry, some people. But everybody is in one avatar, one link that they show that they feel sorry for the departed. And that's empathy, that we have to feel one way. You know, when somebody cries, I am also crying. Not that. I also feel for the person and I cry. That becomes empathy. Now, so far we have been listening to communication in the organization and how to develop the communication in the organization. But then before that, we have to take care of our own individual communication skills also. Let me give you 6 steps for enhancing individual communication that in turn will take you towards enhancement in your career. First thing is listen and observe. Now, when you look children, when they start imitating others, they listen and observe. Whatever you do, they repeat. They imitate you and they learn. And there is a curiosity among children. In the childhood days, there is a curiosity. That curiosity should be there with everybody when they learn to communicate. Ask questions. Ask questions. The child will never stop asking questions, especially to the parents, to the close relatives. They'll be going on asking one by one, next, question after question they'll be putting. Keep asking questions. If you want to enhance your communication, ask questions. Have the curiosity to know more and speak more to become better. Look for opportunities everywhere. So people say opportunities will knock your door. No, don't wait for knocking. You just open the door and go out. Get it? Speak positive words. As I said, people will like you. When you speak positively, when you give them Hello? Uh, Sushma ma'am, can I take few more minutes?
Yes, yes, sir. You can continue.
Yeah, I can understand because it's getting 12 o'clock, I think. So, can I take few more minutes?
Ah, yes, sure, sir.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Good then. So, speak more to become better. So, distance yourself from the dream stealers. There are people, eh, when you start communicating in English, say for example, for the students, when you start speaking in English with your friends, they may discourage you. Understand? They may stop you. Understand, they are dream stealers. They will not make you a good, effective communicator. Distance yourself from such people. In the office, in the department, if you are not communicating in English, of course, it's not that it comes automatically when you get a chance. No. Distance yourself from people who discourages you when you communicate. Ignore the negative. It's okay when you say, hey, English la namakku varadu. No, we cannot get English, or we cannot speak better in English. No. Or some people are quite afraid of having the intonation and the pronunciation. When David Cradle, he was one of the best English linguists, and he came to New Delhi, and reporters were asking him, interviewing him, and they asked, sir, there are in British English, American English, and Indian English, there are a number of Englishes. Which one is the best English according to you? And David Cradle said, my English is the best one for me. Let everybody understand that. If I am communicating to you, when I speak to you, if you could understand what I am communicating, what I am talking, then my English is the best one. Why should I listen to an American who pronounces it differently, which I am not able to understand? Why should I train myself for that pronunciation? So, you speak your own language, your own accent, your own pronunciation. But keep in mind, speak positively. And focus on your words of encouragement in your life. Okay? Anybody, even if somebody says, hey, giving you a thumbs up, good, appreciate, have a look at that. And if somebody is putting it down, ignore that. So focus on the words of encouragement, not of the discouragement. Now, get English atmosphere around you. It is for English communication. When you want to communicate in English, you get an atmosphere around you. Speak English, drink English, and eat English. One of our professors used to say that. Okay, so speak English, eat English, drink English. Everything is in English. Watch good English movies. Attend English seminars and conferences. Special or social network with English speakers. So these are some of the ways that you can get in touch with the language and you can develop your language and communication. Direct eye contact. It has, of course, it's with the face-to-face communication. Direct eye contact controls comfort. Sorry, there is a spelling mistake. Comforts. That's not comforts. It's comforts. And communicates. So eyes are so powerful. Everybody can understand. Okay, there are no lyrics in Tamil or English or Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam who hasn't talked about the eyes of a beautiful lady, beautiful girl. Okay, eyes are so powerful. It can control. It can comfort. By the look, you feel so relaxed. By the look of a teacher, the whole classroom can be controlled. That's the power of the teacher. Okay, you need not say anything. Merely by the look of the teacher, if the whole classroom is controlled, he is an effective communicator. That communicates. And body language, of course, we speak very less. say, for example, verbal communication is 7% and vocal is 35. Keep in mind, writing 7%, speaking 35%, but non-verbal is 55% of communication takes place. And Sigmund Freud, he has made this statement, he that has eye to see and ears to hear may convince himself that no mortal can keep a secret. If his lips are silent, he chats with his fingertips. Betrayal oozes out of him at every pore. Now you can imagine, when you are riding a motorcycle, okay, without helmet or without, let's say, RC book or driving license, and you see somebody, a policeman standing there. The policeman, just by looking at you, he stops you. He's not stopping everybody, but whomever he stops is getting caught. How is it possible? Because the body language tells him, okay, there comes a case. There comes somebody without license. There comes somebody with a problem. And make sure it is the body language that speaks, that communicates. And there was wonderful research being done by police department. How do the policemen find out legal couple and illegal couple in the public places? I'm just telling it for you people to be aware of. Say it was the way they sit together. The research found out the way they sit in public places tells whether they are legal or illegal. So be careful with your gestures, postures, and all the bodily languages, bodily cues that we do in public. And the next one is the confidence and fear. Make sure, don't be afraid. You are just telling people what you have, and nobody is going to ask what you do not have. But then make sure that you need to plan and prepare. Practice is another important thing. Without practice, you are not getting the language. Without practice, you are not getting the communication. If you want to communicate effectively, speak it, communicate it to people. And whenever you speak with confidence. Let people know that you know something. When people listen to you, they should understand that there is something with this person. There is some content in the communication. So be confident in your communications. Now there are certain barriers of communication. How can we overcome all that? Of course, these are very common things, but it's very effective. You should understand psychological. Of course, the mood changes. Okay, the problem at home affects my office, academics, and then careers, everything. And also linguistic barriers are there. Hello? Yeah. Linguistic barriers, homophone, semantic, ambiguity, of course, people speak in double meanings. We do not know whether they are telling about this one or that one. So, ambiguity, dialectic variation, of course, in Tamil also, say, for example, in the Blumangod Tamil, if somebody is talking to a person in Coimbatore, they will not understand. That's a dialectic variation. It's so wonderful, but then we should be aware of the dialectic variation. Okay, we are all in Tamil Nadu, but then Tamil spoken in Chennai, Nellai, and in Kumari are not the same. The differences are there with the dialectic variation. So, unless I am aware of this dialectic variation, my communication cannot be effective. And the next one is socio-cultural. Understand the cultural background of the people. And fragmentation and departmentalization. Say, when I tell you people, get me 6 into 4, how many of you will understand? What is 6 into 4? Then somebody may calculate it and then give me the mathematical answer. But then it's so departmental. When you go to a workshop, a helper boy will understand and immediately he will bring it a spanner of 6 into 4. So fragmentation is there, departmentalization is there. So what is being said in Tamil class and what is said in English class, what is said in mathematics, what is said in science, it's not the same. That's departmentalized. There is a WhatsApp communication. A small child is just showing as gestures like this. I'm telling, everybody is teaching. Cell is different in Tamil class, cell is different in mathematics class, cell is different in science class, and everybody is in 5 hours. Every 5 meanings are given to cell. Which one should I understand? Which one should I go take it up? So understand, in our communication, fragmentation and departmentalization is a barrier we need to be very careful. And the information overload, of course, it's a when somebody can manage 5 people, you can give one more 6 persons. But if you give 60 people, how can they manage? Okay, so communicating with so many at a time is not possible. That's overloaded. Of course, it's poor listening. Students in a classroom do not listen carefully, and they have this problem of poor listening and goal conflict. Of course, the goal of a teacher and a student, the goal of a manager and a staff there or worker there is conflict in each other. Of course, the communication is not effective. And the next one is filtering and impoliteness. Keep in mind, when you are talking face to face, impoliteness will cost you something to get at your chip. Okay, when you are talking over telephone or mobile or some other devices, keep yourself very polite because you do not know who is calling at the other end. So make sure this barriers has to be stopped or has to be diminished in your communication to make yourself an effective communication. What the mind does not know and the eye doesn't see doesn't exist. In the beginning I said what the mind does not know, eyes cannot see. Why eyes cannot see? Because it does not exist. Therefore, if you want to be an effective communicator, if you want to be an enhanced, successful person in your career, have it in your mind first. Then you can see it in reality next. Thank you all. I have finished my talk. If you have any questions, I can clarify with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Participants, now it's your time. If you have any doubts, any queries, you can shoot your questions in chat box.
Reshma ma'am?
Sir, someone has asked about encode and encode. They want you to
Encoding and
explain about
okay, yeah.
encoding and decoding.
Yeah. Okay. So encoding is from the part of the sender. Sender has some message in his mind and he encodes. This encoding can be different. Say for example, when I encode my message, I'm just giving it in voice. That's a message encoding. And this, when I write a letter, I encode it in script, written form. So a message, a concept which is being to be communicated is given a form that is encoding, either a vocal or a verbal, or even sometimes it can be non-verbal. Say for example, in a classroom, when you show your hand towards up, somebody gets up. When you put it down, someone sits down. So that's encoding. Decoding is from the part of the receiver. Now, how can he decode if the message encoded is decoded properly, then there is a proper response. Say for example, the encoded message can be damaged. Say, for example, I am talking to you from Coimbatore, and you are listening to me in Kanyakumari, and the message is passed through the waves from Coimbatore to Kanyakumari. And if your device has network problem, then you cannot yet decode my message. If you have problem with your ears, say for example you are not able to listen, then you cannot decode. If the message what I have written is not clear to visible to you, then you cannot decode the message, which in turn affects the response. Let me give you an example. Say for example, a lady is cleaning a fish. Okay, someone passerby asks her, "How is your child?" The lady doesn't listen properly, and she gives an answer, "Yeah, can we cut it into two?" Now the problem is the passerby, the one who passed by asked her about the child. The lady thought he or she is asking about the fish. So there is a problem of decoding. Therefore, the response which she has given is a wrong one. Can we cut it into two? The message which the passer gave and the message which the person received are not matching. So encoding is one message and decoding is another message. Therefore, the response, the feedback is wrong. Suppose you understood?
Yes, thank you, sir.
Yeah, good.
And then one more participant has asked one question.
Yeah.
How can we improve our vocabulary? How can we use vocabulary in our language?
Good done. That's in fact quite a good number of students ask, right? So first of all, have it in your mind that you wanted to improve your vocabulary. If you keep that in your mind, then there are plenty of means. First thing is that I want to develop my vocabulary. If you have it in your mind, the next step is, how can I do so? How can I get my vocabulary? Plenty of vocabularies are there in our mind. People say that. Researchers say that. They are passive. They are unused. Therefore, when you have it in your mind that you wanted to develop your vocabulary, automatically mind activates those vocabularies which are passive in your mind. Second, you take efforts. Read daily newspaper, listen to people in which language you wanted to develop your vocabulary. Read the newspaper, read the news in the televisions, listen to people, and have simple conversations in that language. That is what we develop the vocabulary, because we have the vocabulary which we keep in our mind as passive. When you have these simple conversations with your people, you make them active. You make them usable. Therefore, your vocabulary is in active condition. You need not look for words. That's what happens with the people. When they communicate, they look for words. Thereby, they say, Vandu. Why this Vandu is coming very often with the people when they speak? Because they do not have the vocabulary. They look for words. Meantime, they fill the gap by using Vandu in Tamil. And in other languages, now come on, let's see. All these are, gap fillers. So keep in mind, first thing is that you need to keep in your mind that you wanted to develop your vocabulary. Second, find the means which are possible for you to develop or get more words. And next is use them in simple conversations, simple sentences making of by your own selves. You need to develop your own writings. These days, people miss these things. Reading habit has gone down. People always have chat in the mobile, in the devices, with trimmed words, of colloquial words or the words of their own, sectarian language. But keep in mind, reading habit. How many of you spend time for reading? My son is studying in Delhi Public School, And every week, Monday, 1 hour they have to read, reading hour. And that hour, the institute is very particular, telling from the watchman to the driver, to the office attendant, to the children, to the headmaster. Everybody should be with the text and reading. So reading will help you to improve your vocabulary. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Then one more question, sir. How to communicate with an egoistic superior who always finds fault with his subordinates?
Very difficult, but then keep in mind, so people are different. Okay, so even that's what I said, in one place where you need to empathize with the people. So you know your superior is so egoistic. Okay, so you should know how to approach that person. If he is so egoistic, you find your own ways of approaching him. Now, when you know the person, the context, the background, you can easily approach the person. It's the empathizing with the person. Communicate with the person's feelings, why he is so egotic. Okay, so empathize with the person, you will succeed. Hello?
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Another question.
yeah.
Is it good to have a personal relationship with co-workers?
Very, very important. Why you need to have a question like that? It's very, very important. Unless you relate, you will not communicate. Okay? And if you are working in a department, if you are alone, make sure you can excel in some ways, but you cannot excel in life. Say, for example, in a family, if everything will go on, there are certain families, okay, everything will go on so smoothly, but there is no communication, there is no relationship. But that's, in fact, the outcome of that family would be entirely different from a family which has good relationship. Make sure you will find the effect in the outcome. Things will appear to go as usual, as effective, okay, when everybody is in their cabin. But only when they mix with each other, only when they share with others. That's what I said, when powerful minds interact, there emerges innovations. Newness. Newness comes only when you relate with others. Okay? Therefore, it's not merely communicating, just speaking from with mouth. No, you need to relate with the person, and there comes a newness, some innovations. So, having good relationship with your colleagues, with your department people, is very much important, very, very necessary for an effective outcome in the department.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Then one more last question. Can
Yeah.
e-audio books replace reading books?
I never say that e-books can replace the traditional reading. Okay, but then of course the present generation, as I said, everything is online, everything is with the internet. People are just moving with the devices. I could see even in our university where when the students go for their examination also, they are just looking into the mobile. The problem is, when you are looking into the mobile, immediately there comes a chat message. Will you be tempted to respond to chat or not? But that problem is not there in the textbook when you are reading. And then when you are just reading in the mobile, there comes a telephone call. Have you need to attend or not? So distractions are much with the e-devices than the textbook. Therefore, you have to decide. Some people feel quite comfortable with the e-books. Of course, I don't say that they should not read the e-books. It's better than not reading,
reading ebooks are okay. Okay, so it's depending on the individual. But I always say, even if you use e-textbooks or e-devices, everything in the online, have some time for traditional reading, textbook reading. Have some time. You will experience quite difference with the e-reading and textbook reading. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
The talk was really a very positive talk. Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Dear participants, kindly note that you will receive your e-certificate only in the end of this webinar, that is on the third day of the webinar. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd also, ma'am. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just I want to thank Dr. Shushma ma'am and Godwin, okay, and also the department faculty members. I'll find some time to meet you people there when I come to my home. Okay, so it's quite encouraging for me to collaborate with you people doing this webinar. And also I take this opportunity to thank Father Eckermans and also Father Robinson, because I wanted to help him because he was asking much earlier, okay, when he was actively involved in the institutional activities. But then those time I could not help him. So I take this opportunity to thank him also. So it's quite interesting and encouraging for me. So quite pleasant to be with you all this. Okay, thank you so much. So thank you to all the participants also.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Now I request our faculty, Sri Krishna Sen, to give you a vote of thanks. Please, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's my privilege to express gratitude on behalf of Department of English, Nanjal Catholic College of Arts and Science, Kaliyakavale. First, I extend my sincere thanks to the Almighty God for making today's webinar a great success. Next, I would like to thank our secretary and correspondent, Reverend Father Eckermans Michael, for his enthusiastic support. Thank you, Father. Next,
Thank you.
I thank